Howdy folks, StrayCat74 here. We're back in the basement of solitude, and I have two 9mm handguns that we're going to look at today. And since I shot them, I'm going to clean them, and you get to come along with me. Now, pardon the hair, it's a little damp out, so I'm kind of frizzy. Anyway, let's start with Old Reliable. Beretta 9mm. This is the 92F, not the FS, the F. It's a little on the old side. It's got the lanyard thing here, and it's absolutely the typical of what you would expect from a Beretta. 15-round magazines, decock safety that's ambidextrous, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is, let me show you, it is completely cleared. Decock safety, so we thumb that down, and that rolls the, see that? Rolls the hammer, or the firing pin out of the way. Sorry, it's been a long day, and I might have had something to drink. Or two. Not while I was shooting. Absolutely not while I'm shooting. So, okay. Now, I know I did a breakdown and clean on this before, so I'm not going to walk you through it other than lock back, press button, flip this down, release, and slides off. Now, I seem to have lost my red rag. Oh! Damn it! My brother made off with my stupid red rag. God damn it. This shows you exactly how prepared I am most of the time. So I'm going to stop the video, find a red rag, and then I'll restart. We'll be back here in just a couple. There we go. I had to run out to my truck, my work truck, to get a red rag. I use these for like everything, and when they get dirty, throw them in the wash, and they end up in my truck. Anyhow. So, just going to give everything a quick wipe down. Hit this with the bore snake right quick. Just a quick spritz down the barrel. I can't see down the... Oh, there we go. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Actually, aha, there we go. Okay. this is a separate piece right here, and it can move, and once in a while it gets stuck. There. That rides in a little notch right there. I'm going to show you the rails on here, so you can see the size of the rails here. This is about 3 fingers wide, about 3 inches. And I'm actually going to compare that to the other firearm I have here in just a minute. So should I put this back together then? I'll just hit it with a... Okay. So, Beretta, clean. We're going to set that aside, and it's just out of camera here. And we're going to go to my newest carry firearm. Smith Wesson M+P 2.0. That magazine comes out of there really good. I mean, you can see it jumps out of the gun. So, I got the one with the ambidextrous external safety because I'm not a police officer. You know, I don't need to be able to draw and shoot. And well, as much as I know about firearms, I'm just a friggin' civilian. And wow, I actually managed to not swear. Holy shit. That wasn't even intentional. I'm a friggin' civilian. I like external safeties. You know, it's that one extra step of control. I do have a little footage of me actually shooting. Me actually shooting this thing. There was supposed to be a lot more footage, but somebody kept hitting the take a picture button instead of the start rolling the camera button. We won't we won't mention who that was, my brother. Joe, just to protect the guilty. So, I actually had to look up how to disassemble this thing. And I found there's 2 ways to do it. First, using the scalloped serrations, and this is completely clear, by the way. This is not, the slide lock is not spring-loaded. There's a detent that'll hold it either in the up position or the down position. But the default position is down. So you have to manually push it up. Okay? Matter of fact, there's a slide release on both sides. Wow, that is... I have to do it from this side because that side's... I mean, I haven't had this thing 2 weeks yet. It's brand new. I only took it shooting for the first time today. So, lock it to the rear, lock it open. Here's the... excuse me. You have to rotate this, and you'll see there's a little notch right there. That when you lock this back, you can rotate this. Then, safety off, ride the slide, hit the slide release, and there's something you're supposed to be able to push inside. I never really got a clear view of what it was, but I do know that if you pull the trigger, it comes right off. This is a striker-fired pistol. So, now that it's disassembled, similar to the Beretta, we have a captured spring, whereas on the Beretta, it is just a guide rod with a really long spring in it. I'm actually going to take these apart kind of side by side. That way you can see the differences. Hey, it's almost like I planned this. You know me. I don't plan anything. So, similar to a Glock, it is a flat captured spring. Only unlike a Glock, this one's metal. Metal instead of plastic. That's one of the first things most Glock users change out is the plastic guide rod for a metal one. I like this. This was standard in the 2.0. The 2.0 also comes with 3 different back straps. This is the medium large, not the over large, but, and it's, I mean, look at the stippling on this. This is a really aggressive texture. I love it. There's, I mean, even if you're just barely holding on to it, it ain't coming out of your hand. I mean, I don't care for the plastic 2-piece trigger, but, you know, it breaks clean. I like it. You know, I mean, once you get it to the point that it's almost about to go off, it has a nice clean break. I might go with an aftermarket trigger eventually, just because there's a lot of aftermarket stuff out there for this now. I'm probably not going to anytime soon, though. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. Barrel. For barrel. And there it is. In the Beretta, it has this kind of 2-piece jobber-do thing here. That this locks it into place. That don't got that. This also has, you know, you can see the entire length of the barrel. For the Beretta, the M+P, not so much. You'll see the scalloped serrations on the front of the 2.0 here. That's more cosmetic than functional. They did narrow down the profile on the side of the barrel here. That took a lot of weight off the side of this. I kind of almost wish they left it here so that there was more serrations up front, but I can understand why they didn't. Another thing is look at those sights. Holy cow. Those things jump out at you, don't they? I like those sights. The 3 white dot sights. I mean, that's great. The barrel, the chamber load indicator is also the extractor. If that's out a little bit, I mean, that's the only indication I noticed other than physically double checking the gun to make sure, pull it back, okay, bullet's going in, let it go. Hey, it's loaded. Well, similar on the Beretta, only this one has a little bit of red paint. I don't have a 9mm that I can, brass I can stick in there, but there's just a little bit of red paint on the side of the extractor on the Beretta as a loaded chamber indicator. Just to show you the sights on the Beretta, you see that it's also white. I painted those, by the way, because they were originally kind of dull because this is an old firearm. I don't know exactly how old. I haven't been able to trace that, but I hit it with just a little bit of white paint to freshen that up. Okay, so let me do a quick clean on this. One thing I have learned, the 2.0 doesn't like to be run dry. First couple of rounds I put through it, I did experience a failure to feed because I hadn't lubed the gun. I had been, you know, racking it, disassembling it, putting it back together again, and I cleaned it when I got it. That was 2 weeks ago. This stuff will dry out, even though I use this on every gun I own except one of my rifles, and it calls for moly grease, believe it or not. then again, it was made back in 1959, so, you know, that rifle takes a whole nother thing. Everything else I use Rem oil. But I gotta clean it before I use them, and clean them after I use them, and I forgot to clean this one before I used it. I cleaned the Beretta. I didn't clean the M+P 2.0. So I had one failure to feed because I hadn't lubed the gun. I dropped the mag, cleared the chamber, hit the brush, hit the rails right quick, hit the internal, hit the inside of the slide right quick. I put 300 rounds through this gun today, literally, and I only had the one stoppage. It was like the third round. The third round I fired, they were hand loads, but all of the others cycled properly. There was 124 grain. FMJ, they are... Actually, do I have a box of it handy? Maybe. I have to look under my loading desk to see... well, this is not the exact thing, but from Extreme Bullets... Well, these are 44s, so this is the wrong thing, but boxes similar to this, Extreme Bullets, 124 grain plated, copper plated. Let me show you what a copper plated bullet looks like. It looks like, well, this is a 44 Magnum, a 200 grain 44, so it's a big freaking bullet, but it's copper plated 9mm. I also had some Freedom Munitions hollow points in 124. Ate them up. I mean, it's like if you left a bowl of SpaghettiOs out on the counter and one of my nephews walked by and just all of a sudden the bowl was gone. That's what this thing did with the 9mm. It was awesome. Like I said, only the one stoppage. It fired, it ejected, it just failed to feed the fourth bullet. So, hit it with the lube, put that same bullet back in, fired just fine. Didn't have any problems after that. So, one. So, make sure, hit the rails, and I told you I was going to show you the rails on here. This is the 2.0, so these rails are significantly larger than the original M+P. And as you can see, the size of the rails are actually rather similar. This is a hammer fired. This is a striker fired. As you can see, similarities in a lot of things. I mean, they're both 9mm, and these frames are both incredibly light. The 2.0 is much lighter because this is a polymer frame with a steel insert, whereas this is a steel frame with plastic grips on it. So, and you can see the Beretta symbol right there. And, well, you can see the little shadow holes, so you can see the steel insert runs all the way the length of the frame. So, oh, might as well show you this. I had to figure this out the hard way. I might have actually been able to read the manual and figure this out sooner, but I did it on my own. I are smart like that. To change out these back straps, this piece here that has your lanyard bit on it, turn it 90 degrees and pull. And then the back strap lifts off. Now there's 4 back straps that come with the gun. 2 of them have these beaver tails on it and lean up against the back of the gun right here. There's a little notch that goes here. And the box isn't handy, or else I'd show you a couple of the other back straps. But I'm going to put this one back on because this is the one I like. So that goes in this notch, and then it just mashes down into place. When you have it, this goes in there, twists 90 degrees, and that ain't coming off. And like I said, I love this grip. I mean, the stippling goes all the way around, and it's a really aggressive texture. Some likened this to the Glock ARX, or was RTX, whatever. And then they Glock cancel that firearm. Go figure. Somebody gets a good texture on there and they get rid of the damn gun. Go figure. Anyhow, so we've wiped this down. We have not snaked the bore. Now, I always run the snake through 3 times. I'm sure there's somebody going to say something psychological about that, but for me, it's a matter of regularity, consistency, and doing it the same way every single time. Like I said, I might have had a little bit to drink, but then again, y'all are used to me babbling anyway, so. One more. Hear that little whip at the end? I love that. That's awesome. Okay, reassembly. Slide. Barrel. Captured spring. I've been putting the blue in first. I'm not sure if that's the right way, but I'm doing it that way anyway. So it goes in, compress it a little bit, and it catches right there. Now, since this is striker fired, not hammer fired, we put it on the rails, push it back, lock it in position with our slide lock, and then rotate this lever back into place. That wasn't supposed to snap back in like that, by the way. And then release. We have a clear firearm. Take the tension off the firing pin. And then 17-round magazines. You'll see 16 on this side and 17 on this side. And I loaded this up. Oh, more than 10 times. I've got 2 of these magazines, and I loaded each one of them more than 10 times, at least 10 times each. Like I said, I had 211 rounds in my little tub, and then I had another 100 rounds in the plastic baggie, not to mention the 34 rounds I went out there that was already loaded into the magazines. I put a lot of rounds to this today. So, locks back on empty, and now I wanted to show you this trigger here. Let me drop the mag so I can just... Okay. It's a hinged trigger. So you can see this the bottom piece here moves just a little bit, and it's got this thing at the back. And as you move it back, right there is what they call the wall. And then a little more. Nice, crisp, clean, and it breaks. So, right there. And then, boom. Nice, clean break. Now, one of the things they changed from the M+P to the M+P 2.0, and you can see right here, M2.0, is one of the complaints they had is when people would put a magazine in and slap it in with authority, the slide would release. Now, my Beretta does that. Some people like that, some people don't. The folks that bought the original M+P didn't like it. So, it will no longer drop the slide. You have to manually reach up with your thumb to release the slide on this. So, let's go back to Beretta right quick. Do a quick reassembly. If I can do a quick reassembly. This is the point right here, trying to get this spring back in that I always get hung up on. It never goes the first try. Except when the camera's rolling, of course. And now it's in there. So, hammer back. Put Put it on. Slide lock into place. Flip this down. That extends automatically because it's released by the lever here. And then there. Okay, so okay, now let's do this. Empty mag, empty firearm. That's funny, it did it while I was out at the range. Maybe it's because there's bullets in it. I need to get more snap caps. I've got some for .357 just here out of frame. But while I was at the range, I put a loaded mag in, and when I went like that, it went like that. Yeah. Just goes to show. Okay, so. And this, by the way, single action only, whereas this one is double action on the first trigger pull, and then it will function as a semi-auto. So you pull the hammer back, or you pull the trigger back, the hammer moves. Or, after the gun's cycled, it has a very low trigger on it here. Yeah, that's not going to do it for me now. So just gently, and boom. Now it'll go again as soon as I pull the trigger, or as soon as it cycles. So, cycled, single action trigger, uncycled, double action trigger. I like that about the Beretta, but this is a striker fired. I've never seen a double action striker fired, except in revolvers. And no, I did not do the John Woo 2 9mm things, because these are two completely different guns, and that would have just been weird. I've done that with 44s. Both of them revolvers, of course, but, you know, one was 5, one was 6 shot. Whatever. I did not do the Johnny Woo thing. I can definitely feel a difference in weight. Oh, yeah, this one's way lighter. A lot lighter. Oh, I can definitely feel it now. If I was going to Johnny Woo this, Beretta in one hand, M+P 2.0 in the other, this one's lighter, and since this is my weak hand, this is my left hand, by the way, yeah. I would have trouble doing the aiming thing, but if I was just... This one actually holds 2 rounds more. This one only holds 15. This one holds... Oh, I thought that was ambidextrous. That was supposed to be ambidextrous. Apparently, I got one of the non-ambidextrous mag releases. That's okay, I almost never shoot with my left hand anyway. But as you can see from the magazines, this one's just a little bit fatter, and this one's just a little bit taller. They're both more or less at the same angle. This one has the witness holes on both sides, whereas this one has witness holes on the back. So you can see here it says 17, and this one says 15. So, won't even fit. Will not lock in, and it's loose. Not loose, locks in. Okay, so there are no mag cross compatibility between Beretta and Smith & Wesson. At least not for these two particular firearms. Anyhow, I'm going to see if I can get the two of these videos stitched together, and if I can find the video of me shooting the 2.0, or videos. I know I have the maggot dump video, where it's literally out of the holster, bang, 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 bang. slide lock stop video. So I got a mag dump. I'll append that to the end of the video here. And, well, love you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. Eventually. 7-yard mag dump M+P 2.0. Little bit high.